The way I see it, someone's out to make a sequel. You know, cash in on all the movie murder hoopla. So it's our job to observe the rules of the sequel. Number one, the body count is always bigger. Number two, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy.
Hi guys, my name's Will and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Scream 2 from 1997. It's directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. And it stars Neve Campbell, David Arquette and Courtney Cox. And I failed to mention last time because he's my favourite character, but Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy in the movie. So this movie came out just a year after the original movie. And I think back then, this movie wasn't perceived very well by fans. I think because the first one was so great, and then if you follow that up with another movie, a year later, it's still fresh in people's minds, the first one. When you follow that up with a good movie, don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but it's not compared to the first one. And also, I've got a lot of notes here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading off the notes. I do have a lot of notes. So, and this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it, go watching. Anyway, let's get on to the review. So, this movie starts off with being meta. I think this is the most meta it's been. Obviously, it's only the second movie, but I think it's more meta than the first one, I think. So this movie starts off with a young couple going into the cinema. And they're going to see Stab, which is the in-universe's Scream. It's based on the Gail Weathers book, The Woodsboro Murders. So they're going to see the movie. And so they're going to see a movie which is based in a movie which is based in a book in the movie. That makes sense. If you stick with me, that's great. So yeah, it's basically it's so meta, and I wish I was in this cinema because it's you go in and everybody's dressed up in ghost face masks and there's like ghost face flying along the air. It's just I'm like I want to be in that cinema. So yeah, this movie has the first one has one kill at the start, and the sequel number 2 has 2 kills at the start, and it's all in this cinema. So the can't remember his name, but the boy goes to take a leak, take a piss, and he goes in. He's waiting, and it's this. I love this scene. He's waiting. These two ghost faces are having a piss, and they just kind of turn into him, and he's like, "Okay." Goes into the cubicle, and he hears this like. This always reminds me of a scary movie about this one, but he's in the cubicle, and he hears this singing. Like sort of like whispery, gurgly whispers, and he puts his ear to the wall of the cubicle, and next week you just see Ghostface, bam, like just right in his ear, and I'm like, ugh. And then cuts to Ghostface sitting back down with his girlfriend that he's at the pictures with. And she's kind of narrating her own death in a way. Like, the stuff she says, I'm like, it's the stuff that's just about to happen to her. But it's just, I think that's another wee meta moment there. She's kind of narrating her own death. So yeah, Ghostface is dressed up in the boyfriend's jacket, but he's got the mask on. And then she gets scared and she grabs him. She kind of sees blood. No, this is my boyfriend. And then when there's something happens in the movie on the screen, she gets stabbed. Everybody thinks this is just a part of this sort of gimmick that's getting played in the cinema. It's just kind of theatrical to go alongside the movie, but they soon realise it's actually not, and she's actually getting killed for real. And I felt sad for her. Like, I'm like, this poor girl's getting killed. Or no, it's just a movie, but this poor girl's getting killed. Everybody thinks it's a part of the movie or the theatricals, so no one's helping her. And then she gets up on stage, and I think it's one of the best opening scenes. Up's on the stage, screams her head off, and then just kind of face plants. And then title card. So yeah, that's the first two kills, and I think they're great. So after the title cards, you realise it's been 2 years after the killings in Woodsboro. So Sidney and stuff are all in college by now, and we leave off with Randy being in film class with just such 90s characters. You've got him from Dawson's Creek. You've got Michelle Gellar. There's no Michelle Gellar. Anyway, her plays Buffy. They're all talking about sequels in the film class, and that's another meta moment, like, because they're saying sequel sucks. Well, Randy says sequels suck, and I'm like, you're literally in a sequel. Like, yeah. So I'm just half of this. Some of this movie was just like, huh? So yeah, they're talking about sequels. They say sequels sucks. Yeah, it's just I wrote it down because I thought it was another meta moment.
What? Wait a second. Yes, you can. Don't you even watch the news?
Yeah, hello. The murderer was wearing a ghost mask, okay? Just like in the movie, it's directly responsible.
No, it's not. Movies are not responsible for our actions.
It's a classic case of life imitating art, imitating life.
We get to the first time we see Dewey. So Dewey wasn't supposed to be in this movie, but they liked him that much that they brought him back, and you'll see that with a lot of basically every single movie in this. So you get his classic theme. It's like down, 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 down. What was it? Down, 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 down. Like this sort of country western cowboy sort of feel to it. Yeah, so aye. And we also get introduced to Gail Weathers at this part, and how their relationships kind of evolved. But Dewey's like, I don't like you, and starts calling her names, and it's just their relationship in this movie just makes me smile so much. Like, and it's cool that they were a couple in real life, so the on-screen chemistry kind of comes out in the lines. It is they're just so good together. Yeah, so after the whole Dewey relationship scene, and you've got a lot of scenes in between where Sidney is going to kind of audition for a sorority, if you call it. I can call it an audition. So they all go to a party, and we get left with Buffy. What is her name? Sarah Michelle Gellar. I was correct. I knew I was correct at the start. I knew it. Yes, so we get left with her character, Cece, and the tension build up for her kill is the best, and I think kind of the best in the movie for me, just because of the tension build up. There's obviously you get the normal phone call. Excuse me. Get a normal phone call, and she goes outside. Like, and the phone starts breaking up, and then she needs to call the security on campus. And she can't get a good signal and outside, so she has to go back in the house where obviously Ghostface is. And they get a good fake out here because the music's building up, the tension's building up. You're like, oh, it gets you that anxious feeling when you watch a horror movie. And you get a fake out because a friend gives you a jump scare from the side, and you're like, oh, you little person. But anyway, after they're having a chat, Then Ghostface calls again, pretending to be a boyfriend. But the friend picks the phone up, and on the phone pretends to be a boyfriend and gives it back to Cece. And then you see Ghostface come in from the front door that she's left open. And then you get the whole thing. She goes to shut the door. You should set the alarm. So she goes there. And I'm getting a lot of exposition here, by the way. But it's a spoiler review. About time to do a long review. And then Ghostface comes out the side, what she's expected. And then you get to chase up the stairs. And then after the first initial tension build up, the kill goes by quick. She gets chased up the stairs and gets thrown out the glass window onto the balcony part. Stabbed in the back, and then just off you pop, just tuck to the side. On you go, off you get.
Hi, I'm calling from the Omega Beta.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now? Hello? Shit. Yes, I'm calling from the... I'm calling from the Omega Beta Zeta house. Someone's harassing me. Hello? Shit! Hey!
So, aye. After that, the Beta Zeta ladies find out there's a lot of police at the apartment, the house, the big mansion looking thing. So they all run over there. And then Sidney's in that other house alone. And the phone rings and she can't not pick it up. So she picks it up. The door closes. And you're like, oh shit. And then she's getting chased around the house. She gets out of the house at the back. And then her boyfriend Derek runs in. I don't think I've actually mentioned in this review yet, but she does have a boyfriend, Derek. He runs in, all hero, and gets slashed. And then you've got suspicions about doing stuff. Has got suspicions about, well, if you came face to face with Ghostface, how did it not kill you? So we'll get to that near the end of the movie as well, by the way. And I have to say, there's this scene in the movie that is just so great. It is, apart from another scene, this has to be my favourite scene in the whole entire movie. It is where Sidney's boyfriend Derek is dancing and he's just like leaning on and he's just speaking. I decided to myself, I can hide it from myself. I think I love you. And he's up on the desk, and Mickey is my favourite character. Well, one of my favourite characters. He's like giving it all the clapping, and it is just a cool scene. People might think it's cheesy, but I personally love it, so I had to include it in this review.
When you walked into the room, I think I love you.
Don't do this.
I think I love you. Isn't that what life is made of? No, it worries me to say I've never felt this way. Hey, I think I love you. So what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not sure of. A love there is no cure for. I think I love you. Isn't that what life is made of?
So after we get one of the best scenes, Derek singing and dancing, we get another meta expose dump here with Randy and Dewey in the diner, the cafe. He's basically explaining the rules of the sequel. More deaths, some more blood, and obviously someone basically crucial has to die to up the ante of the movie. And Dewey in this scene is, David Arquette is fantastic. Like his facial expressions and his acting, his wee quips, he's so great. I can understand why he is like a fan's favourite. And after we get the expose dump of the sequels, we get one of the deaths that hurts so much when I watched this for the many years ago. I watched this for the first time. This death hurts me, and I just watched it about an hour ago. This death hurts me so much, and it is Randy's death. If he just kept his mouth shut about Billy, he shouldn't have slagged Billy. As soon as he slagged Billy, he gets pulled in to, because he's on the phone, they're all on the phone, they're trying to find the killer because they're on the phone. They're trying to, Gail and Dewey is trying to keep the killer on the phone while Randy's talking to him. And he just gets, he's talking so much shit about Billy. He gets pulled in and he gets brutalised in the news van. I'm just like, oh, that sucks so much. Like, I genuinely didn't want that character to die. Like, it was just so, it was so sad, and I'm a wee bit emotional now. Yeah, it was so sad, and
Where's your innovation, huh? Why copycat two high school loser-ass dickheads? Stu was a pussy-ass wet rag. And Billy Loomis, what the fuck? Jesus. What a rat-looking, homo-repressed mama's boy. Why not set your goals higher, huh? You want to be one of the big boys? Huh? Manson? Bundy? OJ?
yes, we got on to my favourite part. I've said my favourite part, so I've got a lot of favourite parts in this movie. Okay, leave me alone. So we get to my favourite part is when Dewey and Gail are looking over the found footage. Yeah, so Gail and Dewey are looking over the found footage to see if they can spot the killer in the crowd. So they get it on a little bit, and we get my favourite scene, my favourite chase scene in the movie. Gail in this movie is such a badass. Like, I say badass, she runs away, but the way she runs in the chase scenes, and there's a part in it where there's like these soundproof boards, and you can see Ghostface on the other side of these soundproof boards, and you can see Gail, and like the way she just slithers away. And as she's slithering away round the corner, he's just coming round the other corner, so they're just missing each other. It is such a good chase scene, and then you get she gets trapped in this like sort of soundproof room, and then obviously Dewey comes in, and Dewey does what he does best, gets killed in this movie. He doesn't. He should have died, but he doesn't. I think he's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. He gets stabbed so much in the back, and then you presume he's dead. And then Cotton Weary, who I hadn't mentioned in this movie, I should have mentioned him, but he's kind of important, but he's kind of not important. He comes out with blood in his hand, and Gail just flips her shit. She's like, "He's a killer. He's a killer. Why have you got no even?" Like, you were all about him being an innocent man, and now you're like, he's a killer, he's a killer. No, Gail, he's not the killer. The innocent man, I swear. Yes, so I'm looking down at my notes, you know, we're nearly done, we're nearly there. So the following scene after that, Sid is going to a safe house to get away from Ghostface. She's got a couple of security detail that the police put on her. So she got to the safe house, and it's funny, but it's not funny because there's people dying. I know it's a movie, but there's no traffic in sight, and there's stop at a red light. I'm like, just go through. There's no traffic. You're trying to get Sidney to this safe house. So Ghostface breaks the window of the car and slits the security guard's throat, and then throws the other one out the car so Ghostface can drive. This is where I laughed, and I shouldn't have laughed. The guy's like pointing a gun at Ghostface, and he's like, "Get out of the car." Instead of just shooting him, instead of saying "Get out of the car," because he's a killer, just shoot him in the face. He doesn't. He says, "Get out of the car," and Ghostface just like, "I'm gonna run you over." He just runs him over. The guy's hanging on for dear life, and they've gone through this construction area. And this is the most gruesomest death in the first two movies, I feel. Big pole. This looks wrong the way I'm doing this. A big pole just shoots right through the security detail's head, and you're like, oh my god. And then because they're trapped at a wall, Sidney and her friend, they're trapped at a wall bit, so they can't open the door. They have to sneak out, break the like the sort of steel bit, and climb over, and then they have to climb through Ghostface, like climb over Ghostface and out the window. This scene made my blood crawl. I actually couldn't imagine being in that situation myself. I know it's a movie, I know, but I just couldn't imagine being in that situation. It's just, ugh, it got me the heebie-jeebies. And then obviously when they get out, Sidney's to go back and see the killer and take off the mask, but when she gets there, Ghostface is no longer there. He comes out behind and just slits her friend's throat and dead. It's the worst, the laziest kill in the movie, I feel. So now we get to the climax of the movie, but before that, Derek, our boyfriend, broke the rules of that song when he was singing the song. He gave his letters, like his, whatever you call it in America, like the Beta Zeta Data Kappa 212. He gave his letters to Sidney, which is frowned upon. So he gets basically pranked, he gets strung up on a drama set. So he's all prepped and ready to go for the final scene. You've got Sidney, who goes into the theatre where he is being held. I don't think she knows, but I'm pretty sure. So she gets sent there anyway for some... Actually, think about it. Why does she get sent there? Does she know that he's there? I'm very unsure. Anyway, she is in the theatre, and poor Derek gets flung down, and all because of Ghostface. Ghostface appears behind Sidney, and you know, I wouldn't do that if I was you, giving up the old patter. And the first reveal is, drumroll please, Mikey Mikey from the drama class.
What are you talking about?
The killer, he's here.
Where?
Right here.
Shit.
You're fast, Sid.
Get me down. Hurry.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. You really want to trust your boyfriend?
Don't you know history repeats itself? Sid.
Who I haven't mentioned. I should have probably mentioned him. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Let me know in the comments below. So yeah, his switch in this movie, because at the start of the movie, he's this sort of, so he's in film class with Randy, and he's a bit of a film nerd buff, and yeah, his switch seems unrealistical, if that makes sense. So I didn't expect him to be the killer on my first watch through. And I used to always think he was my favourite killer, but when I think about it, I'm like, his switch doesn't make sense. So yes, but he does great here. See, when he switches into the psychotic person, he's great, but his switch doesn't make sense. So he convinces, obviously he's playing on Sidney's past experience with her boyfriend Billy being the killer. So Mikey convinces Sidney that Derek is one of the killers, but obviously he's not. So he goes bye bye, shoots him, and then drumroll please, the second killer is revealed to be Miss Loomis. So this is the problem I have with the killers in Scream 2. Mikey just turns into a complete nut job and he blames the movies. He's gonna blame the movies. I'm like, would you not blame the movies for turning you into a nut job, or are you gonna pretend that the movies turns you? Because that's the whole undertone of this movie is blame the movies for violence, which I get because a lot of people and probably back in these days done it more. I think there's a wee underslip political message in this movie about the movies making people violent. But yeah, the second killer is Mrs. Loomis. I'm like, yeah, Sidney killed your boy, but he was a psychotic serial killer. She didn't kill him out of spite. So I'm just like, okay. People have a problem with that in Scream 6. I have a problem with it in Scream 2. Because your Billy boy was a psychopath. You surely should have known Sidney had the right since he was trying to kill her. So you've turned into a pure psychotic person and then like mother like son, I guess. You turn into a psychotic killer and try to kill Sidney for killing your boy. But your boy was a psychopath. I just do not get the killers in this movie. I do not. I just don't, right? They're good when they turn psychotic, but I just don't get their transitions into being psychotic, if you get me. So yes, that's a big reveal. So yeah, you've got Cotton Weary in this movie, who is obviously in the first one. He gets the final kill, he gets the big save, and he gets his moment in the sunshine. Because throughout this whole movie, he's been trying to get Sidney in to do press, but she doesn't want to do it. So he gets his big moment at the end where Sidney basically goes, at the end, he's the hero, because once they get out and everybody's saved, they get out and they're all surrounding Sidney, and Sidney goes, no, he's the real hero. And he gets his like 15 minutes of fame. My overall thoughts on this movie are, it's a good movie. So before I rewatched this, I thought it was a great movie, and I mean a great movie. But because I watched the first one, just like they did back in the day, also it was a year apart, I watched the first one a couple of days ago, and then I've watched this one today. And because I do compare it to the first one, it just doesn't hold up for me. It's like, so if I watched this a year down the line without watching the first one, it's probably back to being a great movie. But because I watched it so close to the first movie, it's good. It's a good movie, but it's not as good as I remember. So it's still a yearly watch for me, right enough. But it's just not as good as I remember. So, yes, let me know about your thoughts about the movie. Let me know if I've went on too long, because I did explain quite a lot in the movie, but I kind of wanted to give you a big spoiler review, almost like a live stream format. And just, I'm testing the waters with this. So yeah, let me know about the movie on the comments below. What's your thoughts on it? And tell me if you like this long format of the Let's Talk / going over the whole movie as a whole. So yeah, I'll see yous on the next one.